What's up, Guardians? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the TWAB update. This is a very, very big TWAB update. There's over 32, I believe, 32 exotics that are getting reworked, and we're just going to jump right into it. There's a lot. There's a lot coming with Act Herseys. So, exotic armor, hunter, sealed Karm Grisp. They're reworking the weapon swap focus to differentiate from its other hunter reload exotics. Perk description now reads as the following: powered melee and finisher final blows grant nightmare fuel, increasing the handling and airborne effectiveness. Well, active, freshly drawn weapons deal additional damage and grant nightmare fuel on final blows. Gaining nightmare fuel reloads all holstered weapons. That's actually pretty sick. I don't even know what the fuck nightmare fuel is, but that just sounds awesome. Jishwin Vest. So, what they're doing to that is now progress from its super returns on super hits, as well as kills before coming invisible. They're making it improving the maximum possible number of super energy gained per return. Also increase the amount of progress needed for maximum gains. Also, emits a cloud of weakening smoke when you exit invisibility near enemies. Works with both neutral, both in neutral and while in super. Next is renewal grasps. This one's actually kind of nice. Too bad they didn't do that for this one. They're doubling the rate of the frost armor gain while the enhanced dusk field grenade is active. Foe tracer, increase the bonus weapon damage from 10 seconds to 15. Radiant dance machines, improve airborne effectiveness and hipfire mobility range. They improve the airborne effectiveness and hipfire mobility range and accuracy for primary ammo weapons. Multi-kill with primary ammo weapons. Refund dodge energy. Well, dodge energy is full. Multi-kills grant extra charges. Powerful combatants and guardians count as more than one kill. That's huge. Galanor. They are nerfing that. The Spirit of Galanor. Reduce the maximum amount of energy refunded for Silk Strike and Golden Gun to 30, down from 50. That's an L right there. Oh shit, this is what I was wondering. So the relativism, the Spirit of the Foe Tracer, has inherited the changes made to Foe Tracer. So instead of 10, it's going to be 15 now. That's big. That's a lot of extra. It's 15. It's 5 more seconds you get with your damage. Titan. Canton's Ramparts. They remove several downsides applied by the Assault Barricade to bring it in line with those Towering Barricades behavior. Cumulatively, these changes result in Towering Barricades you can now shoot through with no other downsides, while Canton's is equipped in PvE. See below. Increase barricade health from 400 to 500. No longer increase barricade cooldown. No longer decrease barricade cooldown. Farther increase the damage dealt to Keratin's barricades by guardians from 125 to 160. That's massive. The result in near identical effective barricade health in PvP, 2.5% less than these changes. The Eternal Warrior. Final blows with Fist of Havoc now grant extended super duration. Oh, shit. That's tasty. Ursa Ferosa. Blocking damage with Unbreakable now returns grenade energy instead of super energy. Grenade energy is returned at the end of Unbreakable and is scaled based on the amount of damage you block with it. And then we have Kepler's Horn. So is getting a glow up. It will still cause your barricade to emit waves of damaging solar, but with this update has been significantly enhanced. Now sends out 3 waves instead of just one flame. These waves no longer return towards the barricade. They only travel outwards once. Tracking on the waves have been enhanced. Combatants damaged by these waves are enveloped in a sunspot. Players in it are also Players are invulnerable if they are defeated. So it's just summons the sunspot for PvP, basically, is what's saying. Now requires a solar super to be equipped to create the flame wave from the barricade. That's an L, honestly. You made this thing good, but you have to have, so that it's kind of an L right there if you want to go and use like prismatic, and then you gotta end up using a solar super. It's kind of an L. Insurmountable Skull Fort. I don't even know what this is. Now grants energy to arc melee abilities when hitting targets with any melee attack. Amounts granted varies based on melees used. From most to least energy granted, power melees, non-glaive unpowered melee kills will knock out as active, and unpowered melees, including glaives. And then the exotic class item, Spear of the Bear. Spear of the Bear has inherited the changes from Ursa Ferosa and also from Spear of the Horn. They are also going to be inheriting that change. On thrusters, Spirit of the Horn will now emit 4 waves in an X pattern. Warlock, Storm Dancer's Brace. Much like the Spirit of Galanor. Alright, so we're just going to skip all that and just go right into the changes. Deal double the damage benefit per stack, ascending amplitude up to 20% per stack from 10. That's a pretty big boost. Now also reduces the cost of Ionic Blink. Ionic Blink during Super by 50%. Reduce the maximum amount of energy refunded by to 30 from 50. Geomad Stabilizers. Added new perk, Sprinting Well Near Max Bolt Charge will top it off. Start at 6 stacks of Bolt Charge. Renewable VFX, where boots spark. Sprinting Near Max Bolt Charge. Increased super energy gain from Ionic Trace to 7 from 2%. And then we have the next one, which is Seeker's Sight. Healing turrets no longer target allies at full health. Allies need some damage. Yeah, I knew that was coming with the changes that were coming with the glaives for the exotics, so that's actually kind of good. So the healing turret won't go away as quick. Verity's Brow and Spirit of Verity now uses a meter to track death throws. New duration per tier. At 1, 8 seconds. At 2, 7 seconds. At 3, 6 seconds. At 4, 5 seconds. And at 5, 4 seconds. So the more you get, the duration becomes lower and lower. That's kind of Cheeks McGee. And then we have bonus. So when one tier duration elapses, the benefit or the buff will downgrade to the next lower tier rather than expiring entirely. That's not bad. Bonus grenade recharge per tier. At 1, it is 0.5. At 2, it's 1%. At 3, it's 1.5. So on and so forth. With 4, it's going to go up to 2%. At 5, it's going to be 2.5 seconds per second. And then the same thing with as before. Any of the class items that share the Spirit of Verity will also inherit these changes, and it also says gain bonus grenade recharge rate, but provides 50% of the base of Verity's Brow exotic. And then now we're going to get into the weapons and what's happening with the weapons. So we're going to start right on off with PvE damage tuning. Scout rifles got 15% versus minors and 30% versus majors. Auto rifles are getting a 10% against minor and major. SMGs, 5% additionally. In 8.1.5.3, we increased the base magazine sizes from 10 to 15% based on the mag stat. Trace rifles against minors are going to be buffed for 20% extra. Linear fusion rifles are going to be buffed against 10% against all combatants. Honestly, it needed that. Glaives. Didn't read this yesterday. I only read the exotic changes. This is interesting. Significantly increase the aim assist, aim magnetism, and damage fall-off range across the board for all glaives. Improve glaive projectile hit registration, and increase the base effect of all stat values for handling speed, including shield ready speed and draw and stow speed, magazine size, projectile speed, and reload speed. Final hits of the melee combo deals double damage, and this hit also inflicts much more damage, or much more flinch in PvE combatants. Aggressive aggressive frame fusion rifles. So aggressive frame fusion rifles now are 3 bursts of 4 pellets to increasingly wide spreads, increase the minimum damage when fully outside of the damage fall off from 45 to 65, increase the range fall off start by 4 meters relative to the normal fusion rifles, increase the range fall off end by 3 meters relative to fusion rifles, and increased damage versus minor and major by 15% relative to normal fusion rifles. So then we have support frame auto rifles. Now can increase how far you can heal another Guardian. Rocket assisted frames, they are reducing PvE detonation damage by 45%. Increased impact damage by 100%. So we're losing the detonation damage but getting impact damage. That's a good trade-off. Reduced aim assist fall off for a maximum distance of 8 meters. Reduce magnetism fall off for a maximum of 8 meters. Reduce damage by 30% versus boss's vehicle and minor mini bosses. That is dog shit. Buried bloodline body shot is ineffective. Critical hit damage is buffed by 8%. Ooh, I might be rocking buried bloodline next season again. The range stat was vestigial to the weapon sub-family, so we removed it. Range masterwork and enhancement intrinsically placed with something more appropriate. Now we get into the exotic weapons. The Lorenz Driver, picking up a bounty tag, now grants 1 ammo to the mag, triggering the Lagering sight by picking up a bounty tag, adds 6 ammos to the mag. The first time you trigger it, returning to adding 1 ammo per tag on extension while the buff remains active. The Delicate Tomb, increased chance of ionic trace from minor combatants from 4 to 10%. Increased PvE damage bonus on the Tempest Cascade shot from 30 to 100, and removed the Tempest Cascade lasts until fired. So they're removing the timer from that, and it's going to be lasting until it's fired, meaning if you swap weapons, it could possibly go away. We'll know in a couple of weeks. Less than that, maybe like a week at this point. Yeah, so like 1 more week, and then we'll see it on the 4th. Darcy is becoming the talk of Twitter, and every single person who does Destiny content is talking about Darcy. Darcy is now going to work like the Galahorn. So they're adding a new catalyst perk, network targeting. Hits with personal assistant active grants you and nearby allies improve overall weapon performance and precision damage with non-exotic sniper rifles. Improve recoil, fringe target acquisition and handling, and precision damage. Stacks up to 5. Darcy also gets this buff itself. Darcy user gets 15% damage after granting 5 stacks to teammates. Not too sure how that works, but I'll find out come the 4th. Edge. So all the glaives. Here's the glaives right here. Special shot is no longer tied to glaive energy. Now triggers on 6 weapon hits to allow special reload. Increase both shots and melee hits. That is, and then we go into the individual ones. Edge of concurrence. Effects of jolting feedback trait added to intrinsic trait. Edge of action. Effects of destabilizing round trait added to intrinsic perk. And edge of intent. Effects of incandescent added to the intrinsic. Added cure pulse to special shot impact. Healing turret no longer targets allies at full health, and allies basically the same thing as the healing grenade. They need some damage done to their shields or health to be eligible. Centrifuge is increasing its magazine size to 45%, or to 45, not 45%. It's going to go from 38 to 45. Dead Messenger, Hardlight, and Borealis. The fundamentals. So new effect. Gain 30% damage buff, 10% in PvP to this weapon for 10 seconds when you apply or receive an elemental keyword that matches the current selected damage type of this weapon. Removed effect no longer grants different stats based on current element. That's kind of trash for Hardlight, but whatever. Borealis, increased stability by 20% and aim assist by 10, permanently granting it the void element bonus that will no longer have access to, since Borealis is a sleeper pick in PvP. The The bonus was selected over Arc since there are more ways to gain handling. Telesto, that's another one that everyone's talking about. Harbinger Pulse now only refills Telesto ammo from reserves instead of Telesto and your kinetic slot weapons. Now triggers any void final blows. Final blows requirement increased from 2 to 3. However, Telesto final blows count double. In other words, will trigger from 2 Telesto final blows, 1 Telesto final blow plus 1 other void final blow, or 3 void final blows. Multi-kill timer increased from 2 to 4.5 seconds. And then new catalyst, Harbinger Sheath. After 3 activations of Harbinger Pulse, special reload the weapon to cause a rain of Telesto projectiles on your next direct hit. Vex Caliber. Triggering Perpetual Loophole. Now also fills your glaive energy to full. Slightly increase Void Overshield Trickle on rate to nearby allies and yourself while guarding. Increase the potency of Vex Caliber's secret. Initiate advantage against Vex. So it's going to be stronger against the Vex. And now briefly disorientates non-boss Vex with melee attack, as well as they're bringing up the damage with it to be basically within match with Wish Ender and the Malfeasance. It went from 10 to 25%. So War Whiff Coil is also getting a buff. Well, not really a buff, but a new intrinsic side effect. Grants 1 stack of bolt charge to nearby allies for every 2 rockets filled, or every 2 rockets fired, 4 stacks per trigger pull. Queensbreaker players can special reload in a time to swap between scopes. Marksman's sight retains the previous behavior of firing a single shot that changed to nearby allies and blinds them. Range of the chain has been increased from 8 to 10 meters to make chaining easier. Combatant sights now the alternates the weapon to fire a 3-round burst at a charge time of 533. Sustained damage on target decreases the charge time of the weapon down to 300 charge time with no loss to damage. Useful for quick dealing damage to bosses or other high health targets. And the scope you select in the inspection screens will determine the scope, which scope is active when swapping by default. In the activity of the colony, increase detonation damage by 40%. That's huge. This puts this thing above legendary drum grenade launchers. Increase number of bots spawned for one enemy. Spawned by 1 for all enemies tiers except players. So player 1 player equals 1. Minors equal 2 now. Elites and majors will spawn 3, and champions and bosses will spawn 6. Quicksilver Storm. They reverted some of the changes on that, and they reduced the shot required to trigger a rocket by 70%. That's big, especially for those of you who like to use the Stram builds. Legend of Acreus. Reduce spread angle by 33%. Increase maximum pellet range from 12 to 18 meters. The Fourth Horseman. They nerfed the fire rate on it to slightly give more control over wasting shots. So that's pretty big. Loads ammo from reserves to the magazine per kill. Lord of Wolves is getting a major buff now. Increase range but reduce base damage. Remove accuracy penalties from standard fire mode. Release the wolves now triggers on hit fire instead of special reload. Fires full auto. Greatly increase damage and rate of fire. Reduce accuracy and range. Catalyst. Reload speed stability boosts are now built in. When released, the wolves is active. Dealing damage to targets scorches them. And 1 ADS defeating targets spreads Scorch to nearby combatants. The Cloud Strike. Added behavior to Stormbringer perk. Rapid precision hits create a lightning storm at the impact and grants a stack of bolt charge. Added behavior to Mortal Polarity perk. Precision final blows generate a lightning bolt at the target's location and grant a moderate amount of bolt charge. Thunderlord, they're adding to the Rain Havoc perk. Same thing. Nothing's really changing. It's just they're adding the lightning strikes grant bolt charge stacks. Strong against overload champions. Everyone knows it's good against that. And then we get into the weapon perks. Destabilizing rounds. They buffed it. Now grants volatile rounds for 2 seconds if any target is hit by volatile bursts from initial final blow. Reduce the internal cooldown from 4 to 1.5 seconds. Full court now scales the detonation and burn damage of aerial denial grenade launchers. Ambitious Assassin. Remove both multi-kill and reload timers. Flash counter is completely reworked. Reworked to read taking damage after guarding amidst a disorienting blast. No longer requires a timed input or melee trigger. Now deals moderate damage in large cone in front of you, disorienting combatants. Alright. That's going to be it for this portion of the TWAB, because there's even more, and we're already at 20 minutes. It's going to be like an hour-long video, because that's how long they made this. Actually, we're not that far. Hang on. There's not much left. So, we are getting new Nightfall weapons, Lotus Eater, Void Rocket Assisted Frames. I don't know why, you guys just nerfed them, but whatever. And it's going to have Shoot the Loot, Beacon Rounds, Reconstruction, Strategist, Reading, Frenzy, Repulsor Brace in the 3rd column. In the 4th column, these Stabilizing Rounds, High Ground, Reverberation, Box, Weaken, Adrenaline Junkie, One for All. The Palindrome is coming back. It's going to be an Adaptive Arc Hand Cannon. 3rd column, Closing Time, Elemental Capacitor, Explosive Payload, Redacted Perk, Outlaw to the Pain, and then 4th column, Magnificent Hollow, Snapshot Sights, Master of Arms, Opening Shot, Blank Perk, and Desperate Measures. Vanguard Ops, the Cryosnesia, Cryosure, whatever the fuck it is. Aggressive Rocket Launcher, 3rd column, Reconstruction, Envious Arsenal, Slice, Demolitionist, Field Prep Tracking Module, Synthetic Arsenal, Impulse Amplifier, Ambitious Assassin, Clown Cartridge, Danger Zone Outlaw. Holy shit, I'm running out of breath here. 4th column, Chain Reaction, Explosive Light, Perk not in the game yet, Bipod, Cluster Bomb, Quick Draw, Lasting Impression, Adrenaline Junkie, Reverberation, Desperate Measures, High Ground, Hatchling, Gambit, Black Fang, an Arc Rapid Fire Glaive. This is the 2nd, I believe, ever Rapid Fire Glaive in the game. The first one was in the new raid. Yada, yada, yada. Alright. Impulse Amplifier, Beacon Rounds, Redacted, Grave Robber, Immovable Object, Tilting at Windmills, Shot Swap, Steady Hands, Replenishing, Aegis, Field Prep, Lead from Gold, and Mulligan. 4th column, Redacted, Volt Shot, Swashbuckler, Surrounded, Unrelenting, Wellspring, Vorpal Weapon, Unstoppable Force, Close to Melee, Desperate Measures, Adagio, and Adrenaline Junkie, Crucible, Joker's Longsword, Void Heavy Burst Pulse Rifle. 3rd column, Closing Time, Demolitionist, Dragonfly, Killing Wind, Gut Shot Straight. I guess that's the whole perk name. Lone Wolf, Pugilist, Enlighten Action, Rewind Rounds, Repulsor Brace Strategist, and Shoot the Loot. 4th column, Adrenaline Junkie, Desperado, Desperate Measures, Destabilizing Rounds, Withering Gaze, Head Seeker, High Impact Reserves, Under Pressure, One for All, Swashbuckler, Redacted, and Zen Moments. And then we have some weapons leaving, following 128, 128, and then 123, and 123. 128 last week to get the Undercurrent, and I believe that's next. That's going to be the weapon next week. That's poopy. We also have the Prophet, which is leaving at the same time for Trials of Osiris. And Iron Banner, we're going to be losing the Risk Walker on 123 and the Lethal Abundance on 123 as well. That would have been yesterday. And then we have the Games to Give Kickoff 2025. If you guys want to know any more of this information, I will leave the link down below of this video. Anyways, guys, it was a long one. I hope you stuck through it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see all you Guardians in the next video. Peace out. See you in the next one. Subscribe, turn those post notifications on, or I'm going to slay you out like we slay Crota. See you in the next one.